Eve Jihan Jeffers. What do you call it when love feels like a lifeline and a trap at the same time? Imagine being 19, broke, sleeping on couches, and then the most powerful producer you've ever met says, "Roll with me." Your life explodes in the best and worst ways. This is the story of how Eve Jihan Jeffers almost lost herself to a relationship with Stevie J, Stephen Aaron Jordan, and how she turned fear into wisdom, walked away, and built a life on her own terms. At 19, Eve was all grit and talent, open mics by night, odd jobs by day, trying to keep the lights on while she sharpened her pen. Then she crossed paths with Stevie J, a hit-making producer who already had credits with the biggest names in the game. He was older, connected, confident, the kind of person who could open doors most artists never even find. The spark was real. The timing felt perfect. And when you're young and hungry, perfect can feel like destiny. Success came fast. Eve's debut shot straight to the top of the charts, making history as one of the very few women in rap to hit #1. Overnight, the kid from Philly wasn't just promising she was undeniable, but that's when the ground shifted. The power balance that once felt like protection started to feel like pressure. Independence is beautiful until it threatens someone who needs control to feel secure. That's where the slow, quiet stuff creeps in. Not bruises, doubts, comments that sound like advice but land like put-downs, jokes that only sting you, rumors waved in your face to make you jealous, then used against you when you react. You start asking for permission to be the version of yourself you already earned, and you tell yourself it's love because saying it's control hurts too much. Accounts from that time describe moments engineered to humiliate. An ex suddenly in the same space, a door unlocked at the worst possible hour, an audience for your heartbreak. Whether planned or just painfully careless, the message lands the same: you're replaceable. And through it all, the world still expected Eve to be flawless on stage, fierce on camera, bulletproof in public. Then came the ultimate violation, an intimate video surfacing without her consent. She said she never watched it, couldn't. Imagine having to keep performing while strangers talk about the most private thing you never agreed to share. No matter who pressed upload, the impact is the same. Shame becomes a prison, and you start to believe the only person who can fix it is the one who helped break you. It didn't stop there. Public jabs hurt in a different way, especially when they come from peers. In the months that followed, Eve even took heat on stage, one tense moment with T.I., Clifford Joseph Harris Jr., that felt less like friendly banter and more like a shove in front of a crowd. When you're already off balance, stuff like that cuts deeper than anyone realizes. From the outside, the wins kept stacking up. Hit singles, awards, and global respect. But offstage, the coping got darker. You start to numb, to quiet the noise, to make it through the night without hearing those planted voices in your head. That's what control does. It teaches you to doubt the one person you need most, yourself. The turning point wasn't fireworks. It was quiet and stubborn. Eve realized the version of herself the world loved, the focused writer. The fearless performer was slipping away, and no relationship, no matter how powerful, was worth losing the core of who she was. She began the slow, brutal process of leaving. Not just an apartment or a person, but a cycle, minimizing herself, apologizing for her own shine, mistaking chaos for chemistry. Healing didn't look cute. It looked like therapy, like relearning the difference between instincts and triggers, like saying no to the wrong kind of attention and yes to boundaries that felt awkward at first, like performing because she wanted to, not because she needed applause to drown out the doubt. It was a lot of quiet days and small wins stacked into something solid. And then, without fireworks again, real love. At an event in London, Eve met Maximilian Cooper, an entrepreneur with his own identity, his own lane, zero interest in micromanaging hers. No competing, no keeping score. Just conversation that didn't turn into control, curiosity without criticism, honesty without weaponizing vulnerability. She's joked about looking at him like, "You are so different." And that was the point. Different was exactly what she needed. They took their time, talked about the hard stuff, navigated culture, race, pace out loud, and without defensiveness. Where old patterns demanded secrecy and power plays, this new chapter asked for clarity and respect. They married in 2014. It wasn't a rescue, it was a partnership. The real test came later, fertility struggles that would have broken a flimsy bond. Instead, they got stronger. On the 1st of February 2022, Eve welcomed her son, Wild Wolf, and the woman who once drank to silence the pain now had a home filled with the kind of peace you can't fake. With time and distance, she started speaking about the past in a way that helped other people feel seen. Not to relive the mess, but to map the escape route. Pay attention to patterns. Don't ignore your gut. Love isn't supposed to shrink you. And if you've survived humiliation, betrayal, or a violation of your privacy, your future isn't over. It's waiting on the other side of your boundaries. That's the real twist. The same fire that made Eve a star is what carried her out. It wasn't luck. It wasn't a savior. It was a decision over and over to choose self-respect. When fear told her not to rock the boat, she learned that love without safety is a storm. And storms don't build anything. Wisdom does. So, when someone asks how the toughest woman in the room almost broke, the answer is simple. She was young, human, and hopeful. And when they ask how she came back stronger, she started believing the truth that control tried to bury she was enough before anyone famous ever said her name. In the end, Eve didn't just survive a bad relationship with Stevie J. She rewired what love means, found a partner in Maximilian Cooper who meets her as an equal, and built a life that reflects her worth. That's not fear of men, that's wisdom about love. If this story hit home, drop a comment about the moment you decided to choose yourself. And if you want more real stories told with heart, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a reminder. Your boundaries aren't walls, they're doors you choose who to open for.